Why are so many content creators suddenly quitting YouTube? And will I ever do a review of the Axe FX 3? How does the new Soldano Astro compare to the Stealth? We're going to find out. And while most people agreed with my assessment on that MGK Razorblade guitar released by Schecter, some people disagreed with me, but I think they missed the point I was trying to make about that guitar. And what Engl amps do I recommend to people who want to try one out? All that and more in today's Riffs and Responses. Let's get started. Hey guys, thanks for joining me for today's Riffs and Responses video. If you're new to my channel or new to this series, this is where I read and respond to comments. I also cover news topics, and when I'm responding to comments, I'll sometimes just give you a verbal response, or I'll give you a demonstration so that you can not only get a verbal response from me, but you'll also get a demonstration so that I can back it up with some audible facts for you, and then you can make the best decision that works for you. If you want me to compare things or just dial something in or try something, I'm happy to do it on the channel. It's fun. That's why I set my studio up the way that I did. So if you have questions that you want me to answer, or if you want me to compare some stuff for you or shoot something out or whatever in future episodes, feel free to leave a comment in this video and I'll do my best to respond to it in a future Riffs and Responses video. So the first thing I want to cover is you've probably seen a bunch of videos lately about YouTubers quitting and people covering that topic, like why are YouTubers quitting, and they'll play like their quit video and then add some commentary and do a reaction to that. I'm not going to do that here. I'm not going to play other people's videos, but I'm just going to give you my general thoughts about it. I don't know all of the YouTubers that are quitting. I just know that people keep talking about mass quitting of YouTube by certain content creators, and a lot of them have really big channels and have had a lot of success, and people are kind of scratching their heads going, why are you quitting? You're on top. You have millions of subscribers, and you know, it just doesn't make sense. Why are you quitting, you know? So the thing is what a lot of people don't understand is burnout is real. Like, there's guys out there that grind out videos every day, and in order to make that happen, a lot of times these guys aren't just shooting a video each day, they're shooting multiple videos each day so that they have a lot of content to carry over into, you know, times that they want to take off, or they're, you know, they want to take a vacation, or you know, some guys batch edit videos. They'll shoot 5 in a day and have a whole week's worth of videos done for a whole day. It really depends on your production value and how long it takes you to do things and how you're set up, you know, how efficient you are, whether or not you can shoot that many videos in a day. But you know, it is a grind nonetheless. I mean, whether you're doing it every day, every other day, or like me, I'm doing a couple a week. Sometimes I do multiple, like several a week. It just depends on my schedule and what kind of gear I have to work with, you know. But I can tell you, speaking from experience, at least from my perspective, where I'm at on YouTube, it definitely is a roller coaster ride. It's very up and down. There's times where you come up with what you think is like an amazing idea for a video and everyone's going to love it, and you put your heart and soul into it, and you spend hours setting up, shooting, editing, uploading, creating the thumbnail, all that stuff, and it gets hardly any views compared to what you were hoping for. And then there's days where you shoot a video and the whole time you're shooting it, you're like, no one's going to watch this. I don't know why I'm even shooting this, but I'm already halfway through it. I might as well finish it. And you upload it and it goes gangbusters. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? So it can be quite a grind, and it's always a guessing game as to which videos are going to get a lot of views and which ones aren't. So it does wear on you. It really does. There's days where I get bummed out because one of my videos I worked my ass off on just didn't do well, and I don't know why, but it literally is, you know, the nature of being on YouTube. You just never know which video is going to go viral and which one's going to be a complete flop. So again, I'm not complaining. I've seen a lot of that on YouTube as well. I've seen a lot of, you know, sad boys on YouTube whining about how hard they have it, and they've had some really good success, but I think that they just want to do some clickbait videos and get everyone to feel sorry for them and whine about how hard it is and, oh, poor me and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you know, if it really is that hard, then just quit. Do yourself and everyone else a favor and just quit, and stop clickbaiting everybody into feeling sorry for you, and stop trying to beg for mercy clicks and a bunch of pats on the back and having everybody giving you your little sympathy comments in your comment section. I just think that's pretty disgusting and lame. Again, if you don't like what you're doing and you feel like you should quit, or you just not enjoying it anymore, then yeah, maybe it's time to quit, or at least take a step back and think about it. Okay, so enough of that. Let's change gears here. Let's get to the first comment here. This is from Robert Chrisman 1727, and this is on my ToneX tips video that I just released. He says, I'm new to your site and was wondering if you ever talk about Fractal XFX3. Thanks. Well, Robert, thanks so much for subscribing. I really appreciate that very much, and I hope you enjoy the channel. And by the way, we go live every Sunday night. It would be nice to see you in the chat in one of the live streams. So feel free to stop by and say hello. So regarding your question, if you ever talk about Fractal XFX3, I actually had a Fractal XFX3 on the channel maybe twice. We did some shootouts with it, some blind shootouts, and they were called Fight Night videos, where we had a bunch of my friends come over and we do a blind test between two units, and they just vote on which unit they think is the best, and they score them, and at the end of the night we tally it up and the winner is chosen. And those are really fun. I want to get back to doing those someday. Those are really fun events. But so in that regard, I did have an XFX3 on the channel twice, but I didn't ever have one on where I just sit down with it myself and spend some time with it, and maybe get the software, you know, on my computer and really go through it and run it through its paces and tell you guys what I think. So maybe in the future I can do that. My friend Jay just got another one, and maybe I can work something out with him where I can do a video for you guys, because I'm curious about it myself. I've always heard great things about the tones that you get out of the XFX units. I know the effects are great, but I've never spent enough time with it to really give you an honest opinion about it. You know, it was always done in blind shootouts. So maybe in the future I can make that happen, so stay tuned to the channel and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for commenting. All right, this next comment is from user LV9H8WF3R. At least it's not a name I can't pronounce. He says, how does the Soldano Astro 20 compare to the EVH 5153 50 watt? Well, thanks for the question. I appreciate that. I don't have the 50 watt version of the Stealth here, but I do have the 100 watt. So let's go ahead and shoot them out right now. I got the Stealth in the red channel, and I have the Soldano in red mode. So let's see how they compare with some riffs. And I'll turn the boost pedal off now, but after that, I will compare them with their optimal boost pedal on each amp, which the Astro will have the Mud Killer and the Stealth will have the Odd Box, okay? So those are the pedals that best complement each one of the amplifiers, so I'll shoot them out in their best form regarding the pedals. So let's go ahead and start out with shooting them out without the pedal engaged and see how they sound. So as expected, the Stealth red channel was much tighter, as it should be. It's got that Easter egg in it where when you're on the red channel, if you crank the blue channel gain either all the way up or, you know, past noon anyways, it really tightens up the red channel big time. And so I did that. I got the blue channel gain at like probably 5 o'clock while I'm in the red channel of the Stealth. And I got the gain at 3 o'clock. on the Astro. It still sounds great, and it sounds like most amps do without a boost. It's pretty tight, but it could use a boost to tighten it up, make it a little more aggressive. But I think both of them sound really good. And the thing is with the Stealth is it's probably the most aggressive, brutal amp out there. It really is. That thing is just unbeatable when it comes to brutality. But not everybody looks for that. A lot of people just want a good tone, and they want something a little smoother or rounder like the Astro. The Astro is basically, it's a Soldano SLO with a lot of great features in it, and a lot more affordable too. And it has that classic sound that Soldano slows have. You know, it's a little rounder, but you can make it mean. You can piss it off. So I'm going to go ahead and piss it off right now with the Mud Killer. And so now let's hear how both amps compare when they're boosted with the optimal pedals, which again is the Mud Killer for the Astro and the Oddbox for the Stealth. And I backed the gain down to 10 o'clock on the blue channel on the Stealth while I'm in the red channel to even things out. I mean, I'm not going to have the gain that high when I'm boosting it. And you guys that own the Stealth 100s, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so let's see how they compare. All right, so if you ask me, the overdrive pedals even things out a little bit more, and that's what I love about overdrive pedals, you know. So the Astro definitely got more aggressive, and I really love the voicing of that amplifier. There's really nothing I'd change about it. Where the Stealth definitely got more aggressive, and it's got that edge to it and that little bit of a raspiness to it that a lot of metal players really like. And it's more aggressive and it's more brutal, but it really depends on what you're looking for in an amplifier. If you want the ultimate brutal amplifier that's just nasty as hell, then I think you should go with the Stealth. But if you want something that's a little more even-keeled and you love the way the Astro is voiced and you love the features of it, then go for that. You know, I'm glad I have both. And depending on what I'm craving that day, I'll play either one of them and be completely satisfied. Feel-wise, I think they both had a great feel to them, great response, especially with the overdrive engaged. And I think that they both felt really good to play. The Stealth is a little stiffer, where there's a little more give on the Astro. And depending, again, like what I'm looking for that day or what's working for me, I'll pick one over the other. But I think they both sound great. And even though I love the Stealth, I'm very grateful to have the Astro on my shelf as well. It belongs there and has every right to be there. I think it's an awesome amplifier. Well, thanks for commenting, and I hope this little shootout helped you out. All right, this next comment is from Kurt Johnson 5742. And he says, you can shred, but I think you would stand out more if you didn't follow scales note for note. It's not a criticism because I do the same thing and I'm trying to break that habit. It kind of reminds me of a surf or skate video with someone shredding in the background. Great playing, but missing some flair that makes it stand out. Make no mistake, you do shred. Well, thanks for commenting, and I'm not offended at all by what you said, and I'm not taking it in a critical way at all. So rest easy, no big deal. But I have to admit, I kind of chuckled when I first saw your comment, and this is no disrespect to you either. It was just kind of like, if this guy only knew me. Dude, I'll put it to you this way. I don't even know scales. I think I know one scale, and it's the pentatonic, and I never play it. It's just not my thing. And I don't know theory at all. I do not know scales. Every scale I do, if I do play an actual labeled official scale, I don't even know if I'm playing it or not. I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know what half of the notes on the guitar are, called. I know nothing about theory at all. Every single solo I write is all trial and error, And in fact, my writing process when I'm writing solos is pretty ugly. It's pretty much me listening to the backing track and just fiddling around and finding what works and finding that first note that works. And in fact, if you listen to my solos, you can hear what I'm talking about, because a lot of times I'll actually start a solo out with one note. And that's the note that I found that worked when I was in the writing process. Like, okay, I'm in whatever this is. Oh, okay. That note works, and I literally go, all right, I know that's in key. I don't know what the hell it's called, but it works. And then I just take it from there. That's why a lot of my solos start out that way. That's the first note that I found that worked. And the rest of it's all trial and error and happy accidents. That's really what my playing style is. Trial and error, happy accidents. Again, I don't even know what a scale is called. I don't know any scales at all. I just literally just kind of do my thing. So there's really nothing formulaic about my playing at all regarding theory or scales or anything like that. I am probably the most musically illiterate person that I know. So I guess I'm proof that you don't need to know music theory in order to be able to play guitar and write guitar solos or write songs. Because again, I don't know what it is. I don't know how many times I've been to the studio and I sit down with the engineer and he's like, all right, what key is this song in? I don't know. I have no idea what key this song's in. Really? How'd you write your solo? Trial and error and happy accidents. Oh, okay, this is going to be interesting. What's the time signature? No idea. Everything feels like 4/4 to me until I get into a studio and it's time to map things out and snap it to a grid, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you're actually, whatever, 12/8, 4/4 here, but here you're 6/8, here you're 3/4, here you're this, and I'm just like 5/8. What? I don't know. I have no idea any of that stuff. So so it always it makes me laugh a little bit. And again, I'm not meaning this in a disrespectful way at all. It always makes me laugh a little bit though when people say, "Oh, you know your theory," or you're playing some scales and you sound a little formulaic or whatever. And it's like, nope, I don't know what I'm doing at all. It's all trial and error. So and as far as me standing out and having flair and stuff like that, I mean, look, I'm not being combative with you, but I feel like I hope I'm different enough because I don't follow all the general routines. I do not play by the book, and this is not a paint by numbers guitar solo on any of my solos. I hope that it stands out, and I feel like I do enough whammy bar shit and crazy stuff that to me sounds good. Hopefully that helps me stand out a little bit and adds that flair to my playing. But hey, maybe I need to work harder on that. So I appreciate your comment. I really do. And I always try to be introspective when it comes to that stuff. I never look at somebody and go, oh, you're so wrong, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, even if I disagree with somebody's points, there might be some truth in there that I can learn from and grow from either way. So I'm happy to read comments like that and be a little more introspective and just go, well, maybe I do need to do a little better in some areas. So again, I appreciate your comment, but I don't know jack shit about theory, and I'm lucky to be able to do what I'm doing on this channel by not knowing any of those things. But I'm not the only guitar player out there that doesn't know anything. There's plenty, like George Lynch, he doesn't know anything. Eddie Van Halen didn't know jack shit about theory either, and they did pretty well for themselves. So I think in that regard, I'm in good company. So anyways, thanks again for commenting. I really appreciate it, and I hope you continue to watch my videos. All right, this next comment is from Ghost and Want. I think that's, I don't know, GHOSTUN, the number 1, then T. I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyways, this is on my last video where I talked about the Machine Gun Kelly guitar, that stupid Razorblade piece of shit. He says, watching rock fans melt over a guitar is hilarious. Y'all were the Christians in the 90s doing a satanic panic. Okay, so I think you missed the point in my video. The point I was trying to make in my video had nothing to do with, the guitar being a Razorblade and that promoting a certain type of behavior. Okay, I mean, I don't agree with that kind of behavior at all, and I definitely don't agree with promoting that kind of behavior. I don't know what YouTube's rules are in saying what that behavior is, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And anybody thinking about that kind of behavior should seek help, and I hope that they get the help that they need. But I don't think that guitar design promotes that. And if people are that, God, if they're that, you know, weak-minded that something like that's going to push them over the edge, then they definitely need to get some help. And that seems to be a problem in our society these days. There's just so many soft-bellied, spineless, weak people out there that are just triggered by every little thing, and those people definitely need some help. You know, maybe they should touch some grass and get back to real life and find out that it's a pretty cool world out there, and there's a lot to live for, and they should get the help that they need. My issue with the guitar had nothing to do with that, because like I said, I just think that that kind of stuff is, people are just, you know, getting too upset about nothing. So my issue wasn't with the art of the design or anything like that. It's basically a talentless rube whose hits he didn't even write. Other people wrote them. And he's basically a joke that the music industry is playing on everybody. They're like, hey, us in the music industry are so powerful, we can make anyone famous. And it was just like a She's All That video kind of thing, if you've seen that. Like, oh, I can make anyone prom queen. Okay, and they're just randomly like, oh, look at that guy over there. You know, he's pretty talentless. Let's shove him down everyone's throats and pair him up with some writers that can write some songs for him that the general public that has no taste will like the songs and go to the concerts, and then we'll make a bunch of money off of this clown. And oh, look, he's just started to play guitar, and now he's got a signature guitar. I mean, what a joke. Okay, perfect example. Here's a signature guitar made by a world-class touring musician. John Petrucci actually designed this with Ernie Ball and the guys there, and this actually is a legit awesome guitar. Now, whether or not it works for you, that's for you to decide. But I can tell you that it's roadworthy, it's amazing. The playability on these guitars is awesome. I mean, I've had these guitars for years. I've had zero issues with them. Everything on this guitar, right down to the ergonomics and everything else. Playability, sound, feel, fit and finish, quality, durability, reliability, sound, everything is exactly what a guitar should be. It even has the piezo, you know, if you want to do some acoustic stuff. I love the way the switches are laid out. I can sweep pick and switch pickups, you know. I mean, that's insane, you know. So all of the stuff that's in this guitar was designed by a guy who has toured for years and years and years on the road, is recorded in many studios on many albums, and is a world-class, amazing player. So that's the guy, I think, who should have a signature guitar named after him, and I'll buy that guitar because I know that all of the stuff that he's experienced in his life and his talent and his ability and his situations, touring all over the world and going to the studios, writing, recording, all the stuff that he's done has been put into this guitar. So I can trust that this is a very good guitar and it's worth every freaking penny. But that Razorblade piece of shit is nothing more than a prop for a talentless rube, okay, that has no value in it at all other than, you know, a company going, well, this guy's famous, so because he's famous, let's give him a guitar so we can make money off of it, but it doesn't mean it's going to be good, okay? So that's my whole complaint about that worthless, disgusting, useless piece of shit of a guitar. I don't care about, oh, it's made after a Razorblade. I don't give a shit about that. I'm not offended by that. I'm just saying that it's a piece of shit. So if you want to buy a piece of shit, go ahead and buy a piece of shit and support this idiot. You know, so that's my opinion on it. You know, go ahead and disagree with me all you want in the comment section. That's fine. Any gear channel that's going to actually say that this thing's an awesome piece of gear and try to talk people into getting it, well, enjoy your credibility while it lasts. That's all I got to say about that. All right, this next comment is from Aiden Zast 9833, and this is on my ToneX video that I just released, the ToneX tips video. He says, great tips, and the ToneX is really amazing, but you need to watch out for all the crappy tones. Also, I am getting an Engl amp. Any suggestions? Thank you. Well, thanks for commenting. I appreciate it. Glad you enjoyed the video. So I'll address both things that you said, and to the first thing that you said, watch out for all the crappy tones. I agree 100%. if you go on the tone.net or whatever, and you see a lot of the free ones on there, I tried those when I first got my pedal, and man, I would say 90% of them are just rubbish, man. Some of these guys just don't know how to mic an amp. They're not testing things. They're not doing anything that you're supposed to do when they're creating the tones with the ToneX software. And they do not know how to capture an amp properly at all. And a lot of them sound like shit. But that doesn't mean that the ToneX software is bad or the ToneX pedal is bad. It's just people aren't using the software right, and they don't know what they're doing. And they're just willy-nilly making stuff and uploading it, going, yeah, check out my stuff. And it's like, you should not do that. You should, oh, please. Did your 5-year-old come down and push something on your computer and make it all? I mean, give me a break. Keep your 5-year-olds away from your ToneX software. I mean, it really is crazy. So yeah, it's a bad first impression for some people when they dig into that software, because a lot of the tones that are free out there are just god-awful. They're terrible. And it takes a lot to do the ToneX tones right. You got to know how to mic a cab. You got to know how to dial in your amp properly. You have to know how to set up the whole signal chain, and you got to get the reamp box and set up your interface properly. And you know, you have to have an upper end computer. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, and it's not as easy as people think. And that's not a dig at their software or their product. It's just, it's not as easy as people think it is. And it's the same with, you know, KEMPER or quad CORTEX. I mean, it's not as simple as people think. It does take talent, knowledge, and ability, and some money to do it right. So, so I agree with that completely. Get some professionally made tones and try them out, and I think you're going to like what you hear and what you feel when you're playing them. I mean, there's a lot of good professionals making them. I just released a pack, and they're selling like crazy, and they came out amazing. It's the Ultimate Brutal Pack Part 2, or Volume 2, and these came out awesome. So check them out. Links in the description. I would appreciate that very much, and I know you'll love them. So regarding your second question, you said, also, I am getting an Engl amp. Any suggestions? Well, I have 2 really good suggestions for you. And they're not cheap, but they're good suggestions. I've tried the Fireball. I've tried the Artist Edition. I think they're good, but I prefer, you know, like the Savage, and I also prefer the SE Founders Edition as well. I thought that was an amazing amplifier. So if you're looking to buy a new Engl, either one of those 2 I think would suit you. In fact, I'm feeling pretty inspired with the Savage right now. Let's do a mix with it. Yeah, that's an incredible amplifier. I freaking love it. So I would suggest that or the SE Founders Edition. I think they're both good choices for you. I think again the other amps are really good, but these are just better, man. When you have amps on a shelf or shelves like I do, and you have them hooked up to a switcher, you can really switch back and forth between them and tell the differences. I just love the modern, really edgy tone of the Savage. It just sounds great. It's thick, leathery, but aggressive at the same time. And I have the contour switch in on it right now, and it just sounds incredible. Or if you want something a little more bite, you can take the contour switch out and get that. Where the special edition, Founders Edition, is also just incredible. Two amazing high gain channels, and then you got the two other channels. You got a clean and like a crunch, like classic rock channel on it. That was also really good. Very rich sounding amplifier. Loved that as well. They're both MIDI programmable, and you can actually program the amps too and save all the settings on them. And they're just great. Where the Artist Edition, I found it to sound good, but in comparison to these, because like I said, at the switcher, I just found the Artist Edition to be a little bit congested. And as good as it was, when you compare it, most people are going to prefer the Savage or the Special Edition, And the Fireball is also a decent amplifier. If you want to save some money, I'd probably go for that one. Decent amp. A little soft on the top end, but it's a good amp. A little more on the classic side regarding the sound. So it just depends on what you're looking for, but I hope that the stupid riffs I played through this gave you an idea what it sounds like, and I hope it helped you make your decision. Well, guys, that about wraps it up for this video. I really appreciate you spending some time with me today. And if you have some comments that you want me to respond to in the next Riffs and Responses, leave them below, and I'll do my best to respond to those in the next video. And if you play KEMPER, Quad CORTEX, or ToneX, click the link below. It'll take you to my website, and you can get some awesome brutal tones for any one of those platforms. I just go as brutal as I can. I get really nasty metal tones for you, and I get some glorious cleans for you as well, so you have some variety with those, and I got a lot of different capture packs for you. So go check them out and get something awesome for yourself. And to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters, thank you guys so much. And if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with another episode. I got a lot more stuff coming up, and I'll see you on the next one.